Hi there, welcome to the Schwartz Art. It is Inktober day 4. We're going to be working on the coloring page Murky for the prompt word. And this one, again, wasn't able to record the pencils, but it will come. But I'm just glad I'm able to get the time to record the inks for you all. This one, when I was thumbnailing it out and thinking about what I wanted to do, I wanted these guys to be hunting for this magical stag, and that they're on the trail, and that trail leads them through what I would call a swamp or a murky wood. So right away, I was just kind of thinking through, what does that look like? Scenes from The Princess Bride come to mind in the fire swamp, but I didn't add any fire to the scene. I wanted to make sure though that it had kind of like a foggy feel, very wet. And so I started trying to build a depth of field. This one definitely came out more that the environment is the pseudo star rather than the characters. The characters are a bit smaller on this page, but I feel like that gave the page a little breathing room, and it to be crowded with environment rather than just the characters right up front. And right here we're outlining out our paladin fighter who is tracking this deer by its footprints in the muddy ground, which is kind of fun. Again, trying to tell a story. I always want to have kind of an action-y thing or an intriguing thing happening in each piece, so your eye kind of looks around and goes, oh, there's something, and oh, there's another thing. So I was trying to make mossy rocks and tree branches and bushes and mushrooms and stuff like that. Wanted to keep them, though, simple shapes, defined shapes. Have our fox character who's trying to leap from rock to rock, and the irony of it being that they are slipping and almost falling into the water where the fighter made it across just fine, and they're holding on for dear life onto a vine that they grabbed onto it to avoid getting wet. I thought that was kind of fun. The idea that rogues are always very dexterous and athletic and acrobatic, at least in game, a lot of game setting terms. I thought it would be fun to have this character, for lack of a better term, roll a 1. But they've saved themselves from falling in. Again, this drawing is on a 9x12 Bristol board with a measured out 8x8 drawing space. So I've limited myself to that 8 inches by 8 inches. That's pseudo-practical, as the book I'm trying to make will fall into an 8.5 by 8.5. A nice, in my brain, the plan is to have a nice 8.5 by 8.5 coloring book, and that the pages would be one side print only, so that each drawing gets a committed page without worrying about wrecking the drawing behind. As you're coloring, you could be coloring with pens or with crayon or colored pencil. That way, each one could be, cut out of the book if you want to post, hang it up like a little poster or whatever. But as an artist, I like to have my pages separated from other things. Even when I'm drawing in my sketchbook, I don't use both sides of the page if I'm getting real serious about a drawing. So I'll have a lot of sketchbooks that only have one side of the paper really used. For some reason, I just always want to come back to it. I think I'll come back to it and finish it, but most of the time it just sits as that one page. There has been times where I run out of paper, and then I have to stop and think about it and go, hey, do I really need this horrible sketch? And then you say no, and you flip it over and draw on the other side. But I have some kind of weird OCD about doing that. So when I do that, I'll probably erase the old sketch and then draw on the other side of the paper. Continuing with, the subject matter in front of us, I'd like to think that the wizard is in the background lighting the area so that they can see through the fog, and that the creatures around them are just, friendly, cute creatures. I got a little owl peeking out of the log under my hand there, and some nice little cattails going on. It's fun to think about the things that you have to put in the scene. Initially, when I'm thumbnailing, I'm not really practically thinking about, what plants do I want? What will be interesting? It's more in the penciling and sketching phase that really starts to fill out. I've noticed just even in, this being just the fourth drawing in this series, I'm already breaking each page down by, I want to approach each character first, make sure that they're very prominent in the page, and I'll draw a little bit of an environment around them, and then as each character has its environment filled in, the whole piece starts to make sense, and I'll start to fill in the gaps, like, I want a little frog over here, and I want some cattails over there, I want some fog here. That's kind of how it's working out, which is really nice. The limitations that I've set for myself help me lock in on what's really important on the page. You'll see me spinning this thing around quite a bit. Being left-handed, I tend to smudge my pencils, and my hand will hover over certain areas differently, and I can't really help it. It's just part of the deal of being a lefty, I guess. Here's our wizard lizard in the back, grabbing a snack on the march, kind of snagging a butterfly or dragonfly out of the sky there as we're coming through the space. And being a chameleon, he can be blending into the background, or he could be matching the color of his wizard staff, that kind of stuff. So I always I'm curious to see what people will do with that character. Now this right here that I'm drawing is this little spy that I think that I'm going to put in every few drawings that's following them through the adventure. And there is one tag or prompt for the month called Rivals, and I'm kind of hoping to bring that character back out during that drawing to, again, build a pseudo story, if you will. Here I've grabbed the 12-point marker going on the outlines to kind of build differentiation between sections. So I'll outline the characters to make the character its own object, foreground elements, background elements. Hope I don't get too boring in these videos, as I think I talk about this every time. But there's something relaxing about the process. Just continuing to do the same process for each one and getting a different result based on just the prompt word. I'm always excited to check out the prompt and kind of go, what do I really want this to be, or how can I make the restriction fall within even the subject matter that I want it to be. And it's been fun to look at other people's works on Instagram or on Facebook or other places to see what their interpretation is. Really talented artists out there making stuff. It's really awesome. And I'm really happy for the creation of this idea. Now, the first time I did Inktober was in 2018, and it was kind of a buddy of mine who I haven't talked to in a while who got me back into drawing. Just said, hey, let's do this together, and we picked a different prompt list that year, but it was fun to show each other what we were doing, kind of spurring each other on to make better art. Well, thanks for listening to me today. Please like the video, subscribe, and share it. I'm all about the sharing. Again, that's the idea of sharing a YouTube video is a way to connect with people. So people you like, send them a video that you find intriguing and have a conversation about it. Not just, via the text or whatever, but say, let's talk about that video. What did you like about it? What did you not like? Again, sorry about the earthquake. I don't have good camera stabilization. This is me using my gummy eraser to pull the pencils out of the image. Thanks for sticking around to the end.